Alright, let's start off with some U.S. Naval. Alright, we need to go cap. First things first. And these little small missions on this map, really, you gotta get in here. You gotta at least challenge these points. You don't have to get them, but you gotta at least stop the enemy from getting them. This is the best option I got. This little premium PT 811. This thing's, it's pretty nasty, but it's gonna get eaten up by a PG02 or a PR206, anything like that. This thing can harass larger ships pretty well. It's really deadly against aircraft. And similar class ships, any ship that it encounters that is like it's typically top dog in terms of like torpedo boats. Like if you see like a German S-class or like another PT 800 series or something like that, or any of the early PT boats, they'll all bow down to this thing. But yeah, PR206 still just king. I wouldn't engage one frontally if I saw one. I would just like play hide and seek with it, but at least keep it away from the cap. See, this guy's got the same idea. Now, nobody came out here and actually challenged us, so that's perfect. We can just move into Bravo seamlessly. See, there's a PR206, but that is not a real player. That is a bot. A little less dangerous. So I'll be able to engage this guy. Still dangerous, just a little less dangerous. So what I'm going to try to do is close the distance here on this PR206 while he's behind that island. The thing with the AI PR206s is they are super deadly against aircraft, just because they have infinite ammunition, unlike a player PR206, which does have pretty limited ammunition, about 500 rounds per gun. 2,000 rounds split between 4 guns. Now, let's see if we get some torpedoes on this Tashkent real quick. And then engage this 206. Try to get some torpedoes ahead of the Tashkent here. Toss out a little smoke there. Now that's bad. Yep, that's a player 206. Didn't see that guy. Now luckily we do have a counter for 206s. The Douglas, but I don't think I'm going to play 206 Babysitter. I think I'm going to bring in the Roanoke because I really, really like this ship. And this is a fun map to play it on. Gonna set every battleship a little bit on fire. We'll just give every battleship a little bit of fire. Gonna make a hard right turn to evade. Torpedoes, but continue firing. Alright, let's go ahead and go back down the line and get some more fires on these guys. And that's what we're going for, farming some kill assists here. We just want to burn everybody down a little bit, keep the fires cooking, keep contributing towards a little bit of damage on everybody. That's what the cruiser's job is, really, is just to kind of harass. Obviously, screen for aircraft. If I see aircraft coming in, I'll prioritize them. That's why I've got those AA rounds on there. But when there's not aircraft and there's larger ships on the board, you're maneuvering heavily. You can see I'm just like turning constantly and like spinning around and doing all kinds of shit. And I'm using that wild fire to kind of hit all sorts of different places on the ship. Like some turrets are firing ahead, some turrets are firing behind as my ship swings around and stuff. You get a good spread on the enemy ship. You're not going for accuracy, you're going for volume. And see how that Nomus guy, he's on fire? I just started that little fire, and now I'm going to move on to somebody else. And by the time I get back to Nomus, he'll have that fire under control, and I'll give him another little fire. And we'll come back and revisit this guy. You know, we're just kind of going around painting happy little fires on everyone. You know, and I enjoy it, and the fires enjoy it. And pretty much everybody's enjoying it. Great way to make SL. Great way to have an effect as a cruiser. It's better to hit everybody a little bit than it is to hit one person a lot of bit, and to maneuver heavily. You don't want to get hit at all by these guys, and you're gonna piss all of them off. But you're fast, and you turn hard. Put a little fire in everybody, and then just move on to the next guy, and give that next guy a little fire. And I'm trying to change in directions constantly and adjusting my aim as I do. Painting happy little fires, dude. Just from one pyro to another. Bravo. We're gonna give that light cruiser back there just a little bit of love. I've just been slowly crippling that light cruiser, but he's got his fires under control, and you know, and that's not acceptable. So we're just gonna give him a couple more. And like, what's nice about revisiting targets instead of dwelling on the same target is when you only hit people a little bit, like they'll start to maneuver, and then they'll realize you've moved on, and they'll stop maneuvering, and by the time you get back to them, they're just going straight for you again. And you just fire like 5-6 quick salvos at them. You know, basically fire as long at them as you need until you see like that first salvo hit, and then bam, switch to another guy. And that's what we want to do. The battleships versus battleships, they're going to be firing armor-piercing rounds at each other, generally, right? And that is a very good type of damage. That is a good way to get deep into a battleship and hit a magazine, hit an engine, stuff like that, and do like significant damage, and you know, possibly even remove the threat entirely. But it's just one type of damage. Fire is the next type of damage, and fire is kind of like a damage over time, whereas like, you know, the AP shot's more like a big hit nuke. The fire's like a dot, and you just kind of want to keep... It doesn't really matter how big the fire is. It doesn't seem to really go too much with scale. It's just like if they're on fire, now the person's damage party has to fight the fire. And if they're flooding as well from the AP, which is extremely likely, you know, then they'll be having to fight the floods as well. And it's like now they'll have to do both, and they'll have to prioritize. And if they wait too long in the flooding, that's a problem. But if they try to fight the fires and the flooding at the same time, then both things take like 3 times as long. So what you're doing as a cruiser is you're constantly putting those battleships in that position where they're having to they're like, fuck, I'm on fire again. But I was just about done with my flooding. You know, I was down to 8 seconds, but now I gotta fight this fire, and my flooding's gonna go up to 28 seconds. And so on and so forth. And you keep doing that to them throughout the whole game. Just whittle everybody down just a little bit. Okay, rounds are starting to hit near me, so now I'm just going to turn away and generate some smoke. And these destroyers down here in the low points, we're going to lose the match because of those guys down there. So I probably should try to remove them. I think it's a little too late to win the match, but yeah, I don't think removing them is going to be very helpful at this point. Let's just get back on the easy targets on these battleships. And I really like to desynchronize my guns on these types of ships, these mini turreted, rapidly reloading caliber guns. And then I like to sweep and see how the shells are impacting, like along the whole length of the ship, instead of all concentrating on just one general area. See, he's starting to list violently, right? When you see him listing like that, keep him on fire. Oh shit. Oh shit. That doesn't look good, boys. I need to loosen the turn just a little bit and now tighten it. Go, 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 go. Swing your fat ass around. That's gonna be close. No, we got it. All right. Phew, I know, right? Yeah. I was like, I need to loosen the turn just a little bit so we can swing out a little wider, because otherwise I was going to go head on with it. But I was like, I don't want to loosen the turn too much because I still need to swing this fat ass out of the way. I love dodging torpedoes, man. Now that guy looks like he got his flooding under control. Probably because he got his fire under control and I was dodging the torpedoes. If I was smarter, if I was better a player, I would have continued firing at him while dodging the torpedoes, but better than getting one-shotted. And I love watching the SL stack up when you're just like pounding somebody like this. I like to get the battleships down to around like this like 60-50% mark where you've gotten most of their crew and then they kind of just stop repairing shit. Try to move on to somebody else who has a higher crew percentage. That's not... Maybe he has got more sail, because what we're really going for is like sailors on the secondary batteries. I think we're going to lose this match because nobody on my team put any effort into the caps, and that PR-206 fucked me up right at the beginning. That was the one thing I was afraid about. That's why I talked so much about it, and then the thing I talked about happened. That was just close as fuck. I thought you were toast, bro. I kind of thought I was toast for a second there, too. I was gritting my teeth until like the last, 15 seconds. Alright, I've kind of fucked around with this light cruiser for long enough. I think it's time to take out the light cruiser. See how he's in that hard left turn? And I'm kind of leading the inside of that green circle. Gotta take into account the shell travel time here. And stay ahead of that green. Otherwise our shells are gonna go off to the left like they are. See, I'm not even correcting enough. I need to be more like here. I'm gonna try to match his turn just a little bit here. Starting to catch up to him now. Turrets are fucking falling over from the heave. I'm gonna go full reverse so I can keep the heave under control. The ship was leaning hard one way, and that was causing the guns to get thrown out of whack. I was having to over-traverse the turrets to try to make up for it. It's something you want to kind of pay attention to when you're in naval, is where that, not where your cursor is so much. That's where you're aiming, but where that green dot is, because that's where like the guns are aligned to. Alright, we're going full reverse now. I'm going to switch on this battleship out in the open. He's got a lot of fresh crew on those. When you see these fresh battleships right off the line, good to just get a couple of just a couple of quick shots on them because they'll have a lot of exposed crew. Nice and ready for you. And you can get a large effect out of your first few salvos on these guys. That's why you want to hit everybody a little bit, because it's the first 20-30% of like crew damage that's like the easiest to get to. See how I'm doing like 3% of his crew? Instead of just plinking away at it. And this guy's got actually pretty well protected secondaries, man. Must be hell on that ship, I know, right? And I was in a light cruiser against almost all battleships, and I was alive the whole time. I harassed the absolute fucking tits off of them. Alright, this line could use a repair.